Hello kids, today we are looking at a Carpenter problem. Here is the problem here. Mr. Carpenter is fixing an old study desk. To minimize the cost, he is using a 56 and 8/9 inch long piece of wood, but with damages on both ends. So he cut 2 1/3 inches off one end and 3 1/4 inch off the other end of the wood piece. The question is, what is left? We need to find the length of the wood piece after the 2 cuts. In order to solve this problem, we try to make a drawing and help us to solve this problem. Here is the drawing that I prepared. Okay, if you look at the drawing, it basically illustrates all the information we have from the problem. The original length of this damaged wood piece is 56 and 8/9 inches. The 2 dots here, or double prime, is for inch. We know that's a unit for length. In order to use this wood piece, the carpenter has to cut from both sides. On the left side, he had to cut by 2 1/3 inch. On the right side, he has to cut 3 1/4 inch there. The question is, what is left? So basically, we are looking for this length, the red line here. Okay. So here's a hint. In order to find what is left, the relationship between the lengths need to be understood. From this picture, we can see the left length equals the original total length minus the left cut, then minus the right cut. So if we want to write this relationship, it will be the required length, let's call it left length. What is left equals the original length, minus cut length. Okay, and we know there are 2 cuts. So if we want to write the original length is 56 over 8/9, then minus cut from the left side, then minus the other cut length. Okay, so for this problem, essentially we are looking to solve this equation or do this calculation. What can we find from this formula? It involves numbers and fractions. For these numbers, we call it integer, right? So this part we often call it integer, and this part called a fraction, right? When fractions are involved in deduction or addition, we have to change both fractions or one of them so that the denominators of the 2 fractions are the same. Then we can do the deduction or addition on only the numerator, right? Again, for 8 over 9, we call this the denominator, and the number on the top called the numerator, right? In order to do addition or deduction of two fractions, we have to make sure they have the same denominator. Now, let's do the first deduction. 56, 8 over 9, deduct by this. In order to do the deduction of these two fractions, this one and that, we need to make the denominators the same. And here there is a new term. In order to make the denominators the same, we are essentially finding the so-called least common multiple of those two numbers. Okay? To find the so-called least common multiples. Okay, the least common multiple. Okay. Let me remove that S here. Of the two numbers of the two denominators. Okay. I will make a new video next time to explain the different methods to find the least common multiple of two numbers. For today, in order to find the least common multiple of 3 and 9, okay, it will be easy for us to realize that 9 equals 3 times 3. Okay, so that we know 9 is essentially the least common multiple of 9 and 3, because in this case, one larger number can be expressed by the multiplication of the smaller number. In this case, the larger number itself is the least common multiple. Okay, with this, we just need to change 1 over 3 to something over 9 so that these two fractions have the same denominator. How do we do that? So it will become 56, 8 over 9 minus 2, 1 over 3. Change 1 over 3 to something over 9. As I said, 3 times 3 is 9. In order to make sure the fraction does not change, we have to multiply the same number to the denominator and the numerator. So multiply by 3 here. And with that, we keep the same fraction value, not change, right? And now we can see this becomes 56, 8 over 9 minus 2 and 3 over 9, right? Now, once we are here, we can just write the 56 minus 2 and put the fractions together because they now have the same denominator, 9, and just do the deduction on the numerator, 8 minus 3, and we know the answer is this is 54, 5 over 9, right? So that's the first step of this fraction deduction. And we need to continue that. If we come back here, this is only the first part. If I put a little box here, right? That's the first part. We need to continue to do the second part, which is the result here continue to be deducted by 3 1/4. Okay? And that will be, let's continue to write on this page. 45, 5/9, right? Deduct by 3 1/4. Now, with the same method, we need to find the least common multiple of 9 and 4. In this case, later on in that new video, I'll explain there is no common factor between 4 and 9. So therefore, the least common multiple of 4 and 9, the least common multiple of 4 and 9, because they don't have common factor, is just 4 times 9, right? Then we can go back to change the denominators to this common denominator, which is 36. How do we do that? So 54, 5/9 times 4 to get 36. The numerator also need to times 4, right? Then minus 3 1/4, okay? Change denominator to the same by times 9. Numerator also need to be times 9, okay? Then we can see this becomes 54 minus 3, okay, for the integer. And for the fraction, we have 36. On the numerator, you have 4 times 5, which is 20, minus 1 times 9, which is 9. So the final answer here is 54 minus 3 is 51. On the fraction, you have 36 as the denominator, and 20 minus 9 is 11. Okay, so this is the final results for that deduction. So we can see the length that is left, okay, of this wood piece is 51 and 11/36 inches. Okay, and that is the answer for this problem. That's the answer for this problem. Okay, so let's do a quick review. For this problem, first we used our drawing method. Okay, we use our drawing method to understand the relationship between the different lengths. Then we write that relationship into this formula, okay, to find the length that is left after these two cuts. Okay? In order to do the deduction, we have to do deduction on the integer part and the fractions. Deduction of fractions can be a little bit complicated because we have to change the denominator so that the two fractions will have the same denominator. If we use the second part as the example again, right? We need to find the least common multiple of the two denominators. Use that common multiple as the common denominator, right? Then do the deduction on the numerator there. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and next time we'll try to explain how to find the least common multiples of two numbers. Bye.